Today's Inner Life Talk is about what the body reveals over time. You know, one of the greatest misconceptions about practice is that we become better because we accumulate more techniques, another posture. We learn another form, another meditation technique, another breathing exercise, another philosophy. But after years of serious practice, something should begin to happen within you. The body should start becoming the teacher. And when we're beginners, our attention is almost completely external, right? We're watching the instructor. We're trying to remember the sequences of what to do. Move this hand, turn that ankle, lift the chin. We're correcting our posture. We're asking ourselves always, is this right? Did I do this right? Is it in the right order? And that's exactly how it should begin. Imitation is necessary. It's a necessary stage of learning at the beginning. But if practice remains there, that training will never become embodied. Over time, something much more interesting should begin to happen, right? The body starts giving you feedback if you're listening. You notice tension before it becomes obvious, and you notice your breathing is changing under pressure. You recognize the instant your structure collapses, and by that I mean the way you hold your body. Recovery, or correction, becomes something you can actually feel instead of merely understanding intellectually. So none of this happens overnight. It doesn't just appear. It accumulates quietly through years of attentive practice. And one of the great shifts in serious practice is moving from appearance to perception. You see, two people can perform the exact same movement, and outwardly they can look almost identical, but internally they are completely different. One is connected. Now, the serious practitioner, the master, the expert can often see this difference. It's obvious to them. But for most people, especially those not trained in that specific art or methodology, it's difficult to see. And outwardly, they look almost identical, but internally, they are completely different. One is connected. The other is simply reproducing choreography. And that's one of the great secrets traditional lineage martial arts preserve. Practice isn't ultimately about producing better looking movement. It's about reorganizing the person who is performing it. You see, over time, something remarkable happens. The body begins revealing things the mind alone could never discover. You begin to feel continuity instead of simply thinking about what you're doing. You begin to sense relationships instead of about isolated techniques. Breath, structure, timing, pressure, awareness. They stop being separate ideas. They begin functioning as one living system, and that is embodiment. This isn't limited to martial arts. The same principle appears in meditation, in music, in dance, in craftsmanship, in rock climbing, in healing arts. Eventually, the method stops being the teacher and reality becomes the teacher. And the body becomes the place where reality is continuously revealed. One of my own teachers, the late Sifu Alex Ko, he often reminded us that forms are never the destination. There were so many forms to learn in our 5 ancestor fist system, over 50. And he'd say, just get the first 10 or 12. And that may seem like a lot, but that's enough to get the core of the system. Because the purpose of practice wasn't simply learning those movements and memorizing the sequence. It was becoming someone capable of perceiving what those movements were designed to cultivate. And I'm not talking about self-defense techniques. I'm talking about how they completely change your inner structure, the way your body's organized, and the way you think and move and feel and perceive. That completely changed how I understood martial arts training. So perhaps a question worth asking yourself is this: what is your practice actually teaching you? Is it giving you more information, or has it begun changing the way you perceive yourself, your body, your relationships, and your life? Because when that begins to happen, you've crossed an important threshold. The body is no longer something you're trying to control. It has become the source of intelligence. So this is only the beginning of a much larger conversation on this topic. In the accompanying field notes, and the link is below the description, I explore how years of sustained practice shifts us from imitation to perception. If this conversation resonated with you, I invite you to read the full article on the Inner Life website, because sometimes the deepest lessons aren't learned by thinking more. They're revealed by the body over time.